Wasn't like yesterday more like a butterfly effect? Like until you get your desired result, keep resetting your life to an alternate timeline. Until you get your desired result, keep doing that. Hello, and welcome back to F1 Fan Fiction. The penultimate race, Saudi Grand Prix. Before we get into the race, stay tuned for mid-episode shoutouts. As we've promised, it's the season of giving, Thanksgiving, Christmas is around the corner. And as we promised, we are giving shoutouts to no matter what it is. And it's not like an Insta promotion sort of thing. So, if you want your brand to be called out, just you being a fan called out, reach out to us on Insta, Twitter, contact us at the F1 Fanfiction, or just being one of the hosts. Like, do whatever you want. I mean, we're giving away shout outs. So stay tuned. Mid episodes, we've got a few shout outs from fans who've written into us. And with that said, let's dive into the episode. By the way, this is going to be an explicit episode because there's pent up frustration that's built up with both me, your host, Akash,
and Sarang.
And so if you're not of appropriate age, or if you're listening this in solace and with no parents around, you've been warned and cautioned. This is going to be an explicit episode. With that said, let's get into the episode.
What happened yesterday, man? Like, what was going on? Was it a race? I don't think so.
First of all, out of the million reasons there are, get the fuck out of Saudi Arabia.
Yes,
that place should not exist. I mean, geographically for sure, maybe, but even as a racetrack, please don't race.
I completely agree. Now, I have been shouting this ever since I saw the track, ever since like photos have come out. I have always been of the opinion that no one should be racing there. The track is too narrow. There are no runoffs. There's no, space for making any mistakes. And that's exactly what happened yesterday, what we saw. Like, it was a dangerous mess, wasn't it?
It is. And I mean, it's everything an F1 track should not have all brought in together. I mean, there's elements of it which I'd love to see in tracks, so for sure. But like all brought in together, no elevation changes. So there's it's basically like driving on flat sand, but just concretized. High-speed corners with no runoff area. So it's like...
blind high-speed corners.
Yes. So like, go kill yourself sort of thing. I mean, it's fine if you keep this as your last race, because then some people die and you've got like new drivers coming in next season. So sure, this works out.
Oh man, yes. You know what? Snehal, my wife, put it perfectly yesterday. And I love the way she put it. She said that Saudi Arabia loves putting people in barriers. And that's exactly what they did with the track as well.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what the track was. It's just surrounded by barriers, no space at all, creating these dangerous situations. And then, it almost felt like their idea of a good race is chaos and accidents.
Yeah.
And they got what they wanted.
Yeah, man, totally. And I feel like Mick was a bit lucky there because nothing bad happened with him. I mean, what you just described is exactly what happened with Mick. Like he just ran himself off into there. We've got a
Leclerc as well,
right? And I mean, we've got a section coming up for Perez as well later in the episode. Something dangerous happened with him too.
Oh no, I meant about Leclerc going off in FP3. At the same spot where Mick went.
That too was a risky offshoot from the whole track area. Leclerc's lucky enough to not having walk away without any more damages to himself. But I mean, so beyond everything else, I mean, the race result was somewhat expected, yada yada. But the track, as I like to call it, and maybe some other motorsports fan and American folks listening to this are going to relate to this. It's drunken Daytona, basically ovals with some squiggles around. it's drunken Daytona for me.
Yeah, man. In fact, it's a drunken, dangerous Daytona because Daytona still feels a lot safer, right? I mean, there are no blind corners at least. Yeah, you're going at full speed almost throughout the track, but at least you see what's going on ahead of you. So still, so you can say it's more dangerous than Daytona.
well. And then on top of that, the whole starting grid chaos and I mean, at this point, it should just be like, you know, how the lottery ticket has like a random number.
Slot machine.
Yeah, just do that. Why?
I would actually enjoy that, right? It would be fun, just like each driver going at it at the slot machine and seeing who gets the first position, then second, and third, and so on. Probably
the only way Nikita can also get on the starting grid.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, there were news coming out before the weekend where Papa Mazepin like bought him a new chassis or something, or a new power unit or whatever, right?
Yeah,
basically bought him a new car. Let's put it because Haas wasn't doing much. Well, good for him because he crashed after Mick, so at least he got to drive it more.
Exactly.
But to add to the whole drama over the weekend, man. And here comes the shit show. What the fuck was FIA doing?
Yeah, it's insane. It felt like some college students are running it. It didn't feel like a professional sport. It didn't feel like it's like a top class organization at all. It was chaos. Like Michael Massi was lost. All the teams were just, I think, being aggressive to him, I guess, because he seemed flustered as well in those radio calls. It's everything is just weird. I don't understand all the penalties that went by, all the negotiations that were going on before the second start between Massi and Red Bull. Like how the fuck is it a negotiation whether, you know, I mean, whatever stewards decide is the final decision. You are not
slid in this $10 note. Hey, we got a kid coming through.
Right? Yeah, that whole thing made no sense, especially after the second race start, right? When that radio between Red Bull and Michael Massi where he says, "Are you okay with P2?" I mean, do they have an option of saying no, I want P1? And if they say that, are you going to listen? Like, what the fuck was that? And he totally forgot about Ocon. He completely forgot that Ocon was in that equation. He's like Hamilton P1, Max P2, and then the Red Bull guy is like, okay, what about Ocon then? And he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. And like seriously, dude, you're this race director.
So I'm not gonna lie here, but like I didn't watch the first 36 episodes live. I saw that as an after fact, and having seen as an after fact.
You mean 36 laps?
Yeah. Wait, what did I say? Yeah, 36 laps.
Episodes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the first 36 laps, I saw it as an after fact, as a whole replay. And like having seen it as an after fact, I'm like, why did I even waste my time watching the 36 laps? And the 13 and like the 14 or whatever laps that I did see live, it felt like the other cars were in the garage and only Max and Lewis were on the track. I've got like so much frustration pent up. I mean, you guys are listening to this on audio. You can't see it on video. Like Sarang can see me right now. I'm visibly frustrated at this point.
Akash, I think your hair just fell off.
Dude, I'm visibly frustrated at this point. It's like, and oh, freak, man. Because there were so many good battles going on, and the only place I saw these battles were like the names shuffling on the left hand side, and I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't want to see Lewis driving alone on the track. Like, show me these battles.
Especially the last two laps, right? The awesome battle between Ocon and Bottas, we were just denied of that. I mean, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. No, now coming back to FIA Clowns. So the first penalty that goes out was like a 5-second penalty for Max. And then another 10-second penalty for this one. And I don't want to blame it on Lewis or Max, because to be really honest, like this wasn't like a driver's fault. Max was told from the garage that, hey, we got to let Lewis pass. Sure. Lewis wasn't told from the garage that Max is going to let you pass. So go. So at the end of the day, this is a garage problem.
Yep.
And we've
And an
spoken
FIA
about,
problem.
yeah, and we've spoken about this in the past too. Like, why are drivers getting penalized for something that is not their fault? Like, FIA, get your shit together, because you need to start thinking of regulations where you start penalizing the pit crew, the garage, and the constructor championship at this point, because it's not a driver's problem.
Yep.
And a 15-second total penalty, how do you equate this with like a fucking Max would have been dead at this point, 50G crash, receiving a 10-second stop and go penalty?
Yeah,
Like that's my benchmark in life at this point. Like, if anything goes bad, I'm gonna equate it to Max staying alive courtesy of Lewis Hamilton with a 50G crash and getting like a 10-second stop and go penalty.
The whole thing was very weird. First of all, let's talk about that weird crash that we saw, like the slowing down and everything that was going on. Okay, so the main issue is that FIA fucked up.
Yes.
They created the situation because they did not. I mean, it's simple, right? Like, you tell the driver behind first that you are supposed to overtake, then tell the driver ahead that give the position back. And they did the exact opposite. Like, what sense did it make? I don't understand. And okay, that happened. They crashed. Fine. Then I think. So Verstappen still had the P1 position. Then again, I think he was told to give it, and then he did the trick of
that was cheeky. That was really cheeky. I mean, I loved the way he did it. So for folks who've probably not seen this, who don't know what we are talking about, this was at the U-turn of the drunken Daytona at the other end, where Max gave Lewis his position back right at the DRS detection point, so that he can use himself to like launch past Lewis, and that's what he did. So nonetheless, that was very cheeky from Max. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, that was cheeky, and definitely I do agree that it's not exactly legal. So he was bound to give it back again.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, he got the 5-second penalty, right? So because of that, he didn't have to give it back again. So FIA created this confusion. They did the whole thing of creating the crash and everything. They still penalized Verstappen, even though he tried to give the position back. I mean, he really did. He did slow down. I mean, regardless of what like the whole shitstorm is going on Twitter about that, I don't think there was any malicious attempt at like crashing into Hamilton. Didn't seem like, he wasn't going to make it easy for him, and that's fair enough. But he did give him ample opportunity to go. But because of miscommunication, whatever happened. But still, FIA goes on and gives him a 5-second penalty, and then again a 10-second penalty for a situation that they themselves created. I mean, seriously, like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, it doesn't end there, right? Like, it feels like Toto Wolff and the whole Mercedes garage is just paying off FIA at this point, and like, fuck FIA for whatever. It feels like they're probably sucking Hamilton's cock at like on a Thursday evening or whatever. Fuck. Like,
for those people who didn't heed your warning earlier, this is your last chance.
No, because I mean, let me put this straight. Kudos to Hamilton for winning the race, because I mean, whatever is the situation, he's cranky, I hate him, whatever, right? Like, he won. He's got a better car, he's got better skills, he's a 7-time world champion. Sure. He's won. Due credit to him. All right. So not taking that away. I am frustrated with all the other things that are going around. Because let's come back to FIA and look what was happening. I think it was the first safety car or the second safety car, where Bottas, who gets no penalty for slowing the whole, like, his delta was way off. Right? Everyone on radio, even Brundle and the British media, who's all Lewis biased and Mercedes biased, is also saying like this should not be allowed. Get no penalty. Get no penalty. Like, Bottas has, like, this podium is Ocon's. Like, why is Bottas there?
Yeah, man, definitely. Bottas deserved a penalty for that. I mean, you are slow. I mean, first of all, the safety car is out because of some safety situation. And if safety is of utmost importance, this shouldn't be allowed. Simple as that. You can't. I mean, it was very clear why he did it. He did it so that Hamilton gets the advantage of taking that pit stop and not ending up behind Max. And definitely that shouldn't be allowed at all. He should have been penalized for that. And another incident that happened, and I think Hamilton has done this before as well, is during the formation lap procedures, right? If you have noticed, whenever, especially in the recent few races, whenever Verstappen is ahead of him, or not like Lewis is significantly behind in the grid, he slows down, so that Max's temperatures of his brakes and tires and everything drop, and he has a disadvantage. And I don't agree that that's fair. And this should be penalized. There should be rules against this for sure.
Yeah, no, it's just ultra frustrating. I feel
sorry to interrupt you, but one thing which I get frustrated about is okay. So let me start from here. Before we started this podcast, right? I was never a fan of Hamilton in general.
Right.
And one of my big reasons was that he would win every time.
Yeah, okay.
And of course, that he used to complain so much. During the course of all the episodes that we have done, I have gained a lot of respect for Lewis, for his driving and his resilience. And I totally agree that, I don't think a lot of drivers come close to that skill of handling both. But people blame Max for being aggressive. I do agree he is aggressive. A lot of times, some of his moves are a little questionable, and also sometimes a little dangerous. I do agree to that as well. But I refuse to agree that Lewis doesn't do the same. Both parties are guilty of the similar things, just that they do it in different things. What I mean is, Lewis does it in things like restart procedures, safety car procedures, and things like that. And nobody points fingers about that, which is very weird to me. I totally agree that he is a great driver. He, is very resilient and just keeps getting stronger through the season. But at the same time, you need to point fingers at the faults as well. Like you can't have somebody who has just positives. And I say that the same thing for Max as well. But yeah, it should be equal treatment on both sides.
No, I think with the whole management change this year, and with like FIA just acting like clowns, and it's not Saudi. I mean, with Saudi, they've just pushed the whole limit, but like this whole season, it's just been random noise, no consistency between how they hand out points. I miss Bernie at this point. Genuinely, I miss Bernie.
Yeah, right. I never thought I would say this, and I would agree to this.
Exactly, right? The whole management change just gotten too much. So I agree with you. Like my another reason to start disliking Lewis was probably just because it was getting too monotonous. This season, finally, things were getting better until like the whole FIA should stop it. But no. Anyways, let's wrap up this FIA topic because I want to move past this. I want to move past these clowns, and I don't want to give them
one more thing I wanted to say about that. About consistency, right? Tsunoda, who completely yeeted Vettel out of the track for no reason at all, and he was given just a 5-second penalty. What? Are you serious?
There's absolutely nothing happening. FIA needs to realize what is the difference between pushing someone off the track, causing someone life-threatening crash. And I mean, again, it was a racing incident, so fans who are going to explode saying it wasn't Lewis's fault. It was, sure, the tires weren't warm enough, the brake weren't warm enough, whatever. At the end of the day, pushing someone off the track, cutting the track and gaining advantage, almost killing someone, and whatever other 5-6 scenarios are. These are different scenarios. Please get your act together to sort of come down with a consensus on how penalties should be given, when you're playing in any of these scenarios. And there should be a whole new bucket for if the pit is screwing things up, which should not be penalized to the drivers because it's not their fault. Take money away from the constructor title, whatever money you.
In fact, take points away.
Yeah,
from
whatever.
I would say
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
FIA seriously needs to sort of now get their shit together because it's getting beyond now.
Yeah.
Anywho,
it's just sad.
We'll let's pause here. Let's calm down at least for myself. Let's calm down for a bit.
You know what? I thought that since we are recording this a day late, I thought that we would have more calmer minds. That's what I thought. But it's not. When I think about it again, I just get as much agitated I was yesterday. Very honest.
Yeah, totally. Well, hopefully these mid-episode shout-outs are going to calm me down. So, hey, folks, let's take a few shout-outs from a few fans that have reached out to us. As promised, and just to be clear, we're not taking money for this. This is the season of giving. It's Christmas. This is our first year doing this podcast as season 1. If you want a shout-out, just reach out to us. Find a way to reach out to us because we've said this a couple of times. Ping us. And we'll give you a shout out. The first one goes out from a regular fan of ours, Zunaira Alam, who sent this beautiful image. And I'm just going to read the whole passage that says, "Who am I at 3 a.m.? Where do my thoughts begin? Is really life this disappointing? It never feels like that is day, or it is because we strangled by a schedule." There's a whole big poem. What I'm going to do is, it's going to take too much time if I read the whole thing. I'm going to repost this thing. I'm going to repost this thing on our Instagram page. Folks, go out, listen to this, read this. Thank you, Zanera, for sending this lovely message. And also she says, oh, by the way, definitely do a live stream on Twitch for Abu Dhabi. She's got her whole gang set up to listen to us. So we will definitely try that. Sarang's in Seattle, so that's probably going to be like halfway night for him. So we'll try our best. The second message goes out for someone who's launching a new payment gateway, AuroPay, that's launching in India. If you're a business trying to make payment gateways and make payments easier for your business to business or business to customer needs, go check out AuroPay. That's AUROPAY, and share our love from F1 Fan Fiction. The third one goes out to Let's Talk Design with Sonam. She's an interior designer and stylist who's trying to make big. If you have any new property that needs interior designing or styling, go check out our Instagram page. That's that's Let's Talk Design with Sonam. So thank you, folks, for reaching out to us, sending in your messages. And for folks who are listening to us at this point, ping us. We don't care. We'll give you a shout out. We'll send your message across to whatever it is. With that said, let's get back into the episode.
Well, since you're getting shout outs, I have kind of a shout out.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Somebody who replied to one of our videos on TikTok. I think at Drew TikTok, who's a follower. I totally agree to what he or she said. It's basically that, that no matter who was right, that in this race, everything that could happen to make them look bad happened. Yeah. And I totally agree to this sentiment. Every single team, pretty much every single driver, FIA, Max, Lewis, whoever, everybody pretty much was on their worst behavior. That's what it felt like. Everybody was making mistakes. Everybody was doing some weird things, like FIA with the whole negotiation thing, FIA with the whole penalties, the Max and Lewis confusion with the overtake and everything. All of that was very weird. It really felt like amateur hour.
And then
It
in the
didn't feel
garage,
like the
Toto
pinnacle of
going
motorsport.
crazy with stuff happening outside. Continue.
Yep, exactly. Everything, right? Like, God, I don't know. It was a huge mess, huge stinking pile of shit. That's all I can say.
Well,
I was
thank
more
you.
stressed after the race than ever. But yeah, I agree. Anyways.
Thank you. Thank you. Random person on TikTok. What do we have next? Max versus Lewis. Let's dive into that. I'm glad in a sense that at least the points are tallied up at this point, and it's like I'm feeling that anxiety of like, school time. You've got this last exam. You got to just power through that and see how you come out of it.
Yeah.
So it's good in that way.
Yep. It's good. I mean, I'm I don't know. I'm split kind of, especially because you know what? I would like to call this race as manufactured excitement,
Yes.
because that's what it was. FIA with their incompetency and their stupidness have created these weird situations where external factors decide the result of the race,
Yeah.
which I am not a fan of at all. Uh, and it's gotten too dirty, I feel. Like, rivalries have been dirty in the past as well, but most of them have always been between drivers, and it always stays within the track and between drivers. But I think what's happening now is that FIA seems to have taken up, the role of being the mediator here, and they're making sure that the fight stays dirty,
Yeah.
just for the sake of ratings. And I don't like that a bit.
No, I agree with you. And I mean, it's not been clean, at least even from the team principals at this point, right? Like, I think you shared an image or a video
Mhm.
with me where Toto was like, "Oh, we'll bring everything on that there is," right? I
Oh,
forget. I
yes.
forget what the
Oh,
video
man. That
was.
was terrible. That was terrible. Okay. So he basically compared the whole situation about the rear wing in the last race, the penalty that they got, the disqualification and everything, right? So what he basically was saying that is that we, like Mercedes as the team, had to face a similar challenge as Lewis has had to face through his life, like in terms of racism and stuff.
Oh
I was
damn!
like, dude, what the
Oh
fuck are you
damn!
comparing? Are you fucking out of your mind? Go fuck yourself, dude.
He's
Like,
so wait. He
seriously?
he ended up comparing the oppression of being a black person to being challenged and given a penalty for you being sneaky and like doing a rear wing manipulation.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was
Wow.
just so bad. It was
Wow.
just so bad. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, yeah, I don't know. I have no words.
Yeah, see, I mean, and this is what I don't like. I mean, sure, you want to win that eighth championship and like whatever, right? But at least it's deterring. I mean, we're still gonna watch it, uh,
Mhm.
but it's I don't know how long can I keep doing this. I mean, at this point, it's all the viewers and all the messages that we get, like which makes sort of has that dopamine release in my brain, which like okay, yeah, I want to do this for these guys.
Mhm. Mhm.
But every time I see Toto and like also on top of that, like him going nuts in the garage with like no mask on, I'm like, if I was there, I would have just punched this guy. Anyways,
Yep.
anyways, coming back to Max and Lewis, um, and what you're saying, yeah, I mean, it does feel like FIA is sort of like manufacturing this. They've probably gotten like a good marketing team at this point who's telling them even negative publicity is good publicity sort
Mm.
of thing. So it's getting to that level at this point. Credit to Lewis because at least he's using his position in the sport to voice out his opinions. And I mean, he was pretty vocal about it, saying it wasn't my decision to be here, which is putting out a statement, which is definitely putting out a statement. So kudos to him for doing that.
Yeah, definitely. The good thing about this whole thing is that these veterans like Hamilton as well as Vettel as well, right? They both have used their positions so well from all the controversy and everything. And I think I'm happy about that, that they are getting a very good platform to like bring up these important messages that's, it's, and representation matters, right? Like unless the people at the top don't show support and solidarity with different causes, change is never going to happen. So I'm glad that Hamilton spoke up against the LGBTQ issues in Saudi Arabia. He also came up with his LGBTQ themed helmet as well. Same with Vettel, who I really want to give a shout out because if I don't know if you had read about this, but he held a karting event for women in Saudi Arabia, and his basically perspective was that the reason for holding that was not just to promote motorsport, but it was more about interacting with people on the ground and actually learning about the realities from them. And this was a very good opportunity for him to do that. And I'm really happy that he did it. It's great that they're using it correctly. Even though FIA has become so much, cash is king kind of an attitude, and they'll do anything for money. That's very evident now. And I think, anyways, but let's not get there. I think we've circled back to FIA because it's just so,
this weekend is
so
like
frustrating.
The whole frustration's built up with them. Long story short, FIA sucks. Kudos to veterans, Lewis for standing up, Vettel for standing up, Alonso. Kimi doesn't give a damn, but sure, he's coming back to Max versus Lewis. I think we've got a few thoughts with like Max as well. He has been an elbows out sort of driver. He did cut corners to gain that advantage, and I mean, sure, all of that too. I agree. He's got to calm things a bit down, even with that quali. He's got to calm down a bit.
He messed up there, didn't he? Like I feel it was in his hands, and he threw it away. That's what happened.
That's true. I like how he's at the age of, I think, like 23 or 24. He's pulling up and bringing the challenge to Hamilton, but he's still got this delta to figure out to keep it within tracks, and probably he's doing it consciously. I don't know what's going on in his head, but at least as a viewer, I'm thinking he's sort of going above and beyond. Then he can control things.
Yeah.
And at the same time, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree that, I have been a Max fan in general for a few years now. I mean, I wouldn't say a fan. As such, I'm a neutral viewer, but I would say I favor Max.
Started growing appreciation of his driving. Yeah.
Exactly. But I do agree that he sometimes is a bit too aggressive, I would say. And for his own good, he should learn to rein in the aggression a little, because that's exactly what happened in the qualification. He messed up because of his aggression. Same thing happened during the race as well, in a sense that cutting that corner, he shouldn't have done that. He should have known better to not do that, especially with the championship online, with how FIA has been so weird with penalties and everything. That's why Hamilton wins these championships, right? He can stay calm in those situations and kind of think about the bigger picture. And I think Max still has some area of improvement in that aspect.
Probably. And at the same time, I think I want to also mention Lewis here, because I think he needs to slow down with all the cribbing and crying. Like, it feels like a 3-year-old toddler asking for a toy, and Toto's like that one parent who's always ready to give their kid the whole world, even if it means that the kid's gonna choke them or whatever.
That cribbing after the first red flag, oh my god, he was literally saying these words, and I'm not lying, or neither am I paraphrasing. The tire barriers looked fine to me, and what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? the red flag is for your safety, for everyone's safety. That was stupid.
And while we talk about like Max being aggressive, Lewis also pushed Max out of the track.
Yep.
I feel like Aramco had paid too much money to FIA. Toto had like probably given half his wealth to Massi. Whatever it was, like it felt like a one-sided affair. And again, we keep coming back to FIA, like the whole frustration from the weekend. But anyways, that should have also been, I think like this weekend, there were quite a lot of incidents which should have been investigated, which weren't. Some that were harshly penalized, which well-deserved penalties, but shouldn't have been given that much.
Yeah. Totally agree. That incident between Lewis and Max, where Lewis pushed him, wasn't even investigated. Yeah. Nothing at all. I don't agree to that. It's weird. I do agree that Max is sometimes aggressive, but so is Lewis. Exactly what as you said. So again, the treatment between both the parties should be equal. Simple as that. Like none of those are like better than the other. Honestly, it's like it's like this. If there's a gray area, teams are going to exploit it. Simple as that. Yeah. So don't keep any gray area. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah. What else? What else was happening between Max and Lewis? I'm just.
Man, so many things happened in yesterday's race that I can barely remember everything. With all the restarts and everything,
dude, seriously.
Like I was watching like multiple different races. It felt like I was actually watching different races at the same time.
Was it like yesterday more like a butterfly effect? Like until you get your desired result, keep resetting your life to an alternate timeline. So like until you get your desired result, keep doing that.
Oh man, yeah, it's just weird.
I think there was. Sorry, go ahead again.
No, nothing. I mean, just that I'm very happy that what an awesome season we are having in terms of the championship and everything. I'm happy that we have like two top drivers who have a real shot at the championship. But I think this left a bitter taste in my mouth overall. I'm honestly speaking, I'm not that excited for the last race as I was earlier, just because I feel that this thing is going to repeat there. And we are going to have a championship winner decided by FIA and not on the track. So I don't know.
I want Kimi to just knock both of these guys off. Like for his last race, Kimi just does. I'd have no hard feelings for Kimi. I'd in fact love him for doing this. Actually, you know what? Speaking of Kimi, taking some attention off of Max and Hamilton, we'll come back because I think like there's still 1-2 thoughts there. But for this award for maximum overtakes, it's these three veterans fighting off. Alonso, Vettel, and Kimi.
Yep. I love that. I love seeing that. Absolutely. It's so awesome to see that because I don't know. It's always that these guys are in these weird situations where they gain like 5-6 positions at the start just because of their experience. Yeah. And they deserve it, I guess.
Last thought, at least before moving out of Lewis versus Max, I think like Red Bull, maybe luckily or however, got their strategy right. But what was happening with like the tire management stuff? They put on mediums during.
Didn't make sense. I think they thought that they probably are going to get a lot more safety cars, which they did.
Yeah, they did.
And still their strategy didn't work. So I don't exactly understand what exactly were they thinking. That is the whole race going to be behind a safety car, and that's why they did that, maybe. But I don't know. It made no sense. It was very evident that Max had no pace left in his tires towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
Even if, say, suppose none of that bullshit happened, none of that crashing, those penalties or anything, they would have still lost the race just because of their tire choice.
Yeah. While we're on Red Bull, the second driver, I was hoping to get a bit more from Perez, but that first, the original race start, he almost ran Max out of the
yes.
He almost did.
Yep.
But it wasn't Perez's day yesterday, man.
definitely not. He got horribly squeezed. I think the second restart or third. I don't know whichever restart that was. Charles, man. Charles is like a mini Max in the sense of elbows out.
Yeah.
He is often found in crashes.
Yeah. I think he's
if you don't know where to look for him.
Grosjean not being here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If you can't find him anywhere, just look around, during the crashes, you'll find him. Yeah, I mean, that thing, I don't understand. Charles wasn't given a penalty.
That should have also been a penalty.
I don't understand why there was no investigation required according to them. That clearly was, I mean, Charles messed up. He was significantly behind. He should have yielded. There was no space. Again, comes back to the track being shitty. And there was no space. He completely destroyed Perez's race. And no investigation necessary. Makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we come back to the whole track not being well designed too, right? There's multiple things happening here. That position in which Perez's car was stuck was super risky because someone would have probably just T-boned him.
Yep.
There's no runoff area, which makes the whole thing way more nasty. And the whole thing feels like the whole track was just done in a haste. Because up until like 2 weeks back,
it literally was, right?
it was, yes. Because 2 weeks back, so much of it wasn't even done.
Yep.
So yeah, overall, and I think you mentioned this like before we started recording too. This track does need gravel traps. It does need a few other things which the other tracks have, but maybe cash is king, so nobody cares.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly speaking, throughout the race, while tweeting, while anything that I was doing with regards to Saudi Arabian GP, I felt somewhat disgusting to support their sports washing and to be a part of it. Just because I enjoy motorsports, I hate the fact that I am becoming a part of the sports washing along with Saudi Arabia. And I hate that this race happened here. This track was bullshit. And FIA, go fuck yourself, please. I hate everything about yesterday's race.
With that, if you want your messages to be repeated by us, you want to shout out, you want to promote anything, write into us. You know where to find us. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. F1 fan fiction, anywhere on the internet. And it's the season of giving. We'll probably have obviously we'll have Abu Dhabi, and we'll probably have 1 or 2 episodes coming out after that as well. Your messages will be shouted out, promoted, whatever it is. Until the decider finale next week, these are your hosts signing off.
Bye-bye.